Good evening, race fans, and welcome to Baron's Hero's Journey, this week's Community Club Showcase on Sunday. My name is Sofnum, and I'm joined in the booth by Deathlike. How are you doing today, Deathlike?
Doing well, just getting excited for a mop up run because this today's session will be foo and foo only. At least to start with, I don't think we'll get dupe foos, but it doesn't really matter because you're already at you pretty much have an end game character. You just but by free enterprise standards, we'll still need a little work to get them up to snuff.
Yeah, and we also have, in addition to the flag where as you fight bosses, you gain spells and everything, we have a meta objective today. And that meta objective is that you're not able to cast a single spell until Fu is fully upgraded, which I believe is 15 bosses. I mean, we don't know that, but it is definitely, going to be an interesting time for our runners.
Yeah, it's 14 because I think
14?
we started. He starts at 500 HP. His
Yeah,
natural HP is 1900, and yeah, I don't think J spells are on. So most of the spells, you only need 13 levels. 13 boss kills to get him all the spells. But technically, you do need. So if their J spells were on, there'd be those extra 3 that get dummied out because they don't mean too much. But you still need 14 kills to get it all. So when you look at Fu's physical prowess, I think the best way to characterize is easily better than Tella, but generally good enough early game, but there's like not you don't talk about it when it comes to past level 20 for most of the other characters, as Fu takes forever to gain a level, but on top of that does not gain any attack multipliers in the stats, even if you wanted to use a bow and arrow. I like a bow and arrow on my characters, but Fu, because of that kind of that problem, you can't. It's not going to scale very well. So unless you get an early power shirt, we don't talk about Archer Fu.
Yeah, it's interesting meta objective because usually when you start with Fu, you have a pretty or two nice spells. And it looks like we are about to start here, and we do have Possum Morpheus today against Side Marshal. These are the only runners in our race today, so yeah, you get to see it all here with us, and we have a Sid.
It's interesting start. There's permajoin on, and that makes decision making a little bit specific. So you really want to choose some quality characters when you find them. I don't think C-Buy is on, so if we decide, hey, I do actually want them, just didn't want them immediately. This is not the worst thing. I don't think Sid would contribute unless you're going to pick him up as an anchor, because of if your other anchor options are exhausted. So right now, it's not. I mean, if you don't have to declare now, Sid probably wouldn't. As an end game character, so best is used as an anchor. So right now, not forced to commit.
Yep. But yeah. And there's a Edward there that we're not even gonna go talk to, not even send to the tower. Where Scythe checks Basidia and finds Tella and I don't know if bad food is really somebody we're looking to join, but
again, I think you really want, if you want an anchor, Tella is also a nice option. When you have Fu, Tella, is just pretty much Tella plus. That's just there's just less of a reason. You don't. I mean, if you're trying to save some time and trying to outright fade ordeals, then Tella is not an ideal, and then that also by extension you can't consider Cecil in that pile. But considering that there are three bosses on Mount Ordeals, you actually want actually want to fight the bosses. So this is right now. I think Possum is checking out some of the bosses, and since that's demist, and that's not exactly the freest, especially if you're trying to do the meta objective. That just isn't going to happen. You need a little more offense, and so that I would question your choices if you really want to to a soul demist with whatever Possum has. I think it was an Elven Bow and a Charm Rattle set.
Yeah. And Scythe did take Kane to maybe, kind of shore up that early game. Um, this horn here. Oh,
It's the other twin.
it's the other twin.
Quake Kid, yeah.
So
So
it's Pocket. Yeah.
and some vanilla because who doesn't want, and I think J skills are not on, so that means Quake Kid can't boost himself to really strong power, and so right now Quake Kid is just gonna be just a participant, just watching Fu do his thing. Just needs to trigger the explosion sequence which just happened, and trying to destroy Bomb Bomb. Between that sequence is a 10k experience or so, and which, if you're trying to do the main objective, what happens? And even if you started with Nuke, you can't. You would be preferable, but I don't think would be enough time to get it off. Even though Fu would be faster than the boss. Uh, so I think Scythe is just gonna pick up Edward just because he's kind of in the way. Want to get some loot for the other characters at the very least.
Oh, and we took Edward. We said yes to Edward. I think. Unless I missed the screen or something.
There might be a boss that may be worthwhile. I mean, I mean, you can still but that is permajoin. So I mean, I mean, if you're bidding on some memes and just hoping for Spoonward to happen, I mean, why not? There are times where you can't. Edward is like the star in particular boss fights. So there's not there can be a time where he shines. I almost think that it's one of those times where you probably want to defer it, wait till the very end when you actually need to pick him up. But I mean, you need the levels, and I don't think party size is capped. So I think we could definitely slingshot him if we really need to.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Edward isn't the worst character. Especially if you find the spoon, as we said. Can hold a dancing dagger, which early game is pretty good if you can find one. So, pretty interesting choice. Maybe playing it up for the memes. Who knows?
I mean, the Kane pickup, I think, makes a lot of sense though. I think there's a pretty good chance Kane will be able to pick up any weapon that is looted. It's not, and pretty much you're most of the way there. You need really the actual reason you really want to Kane this early is Val protection ultimately. So I mean, you pretty much invalidate anything Fu does as an offensive caster. I mean, yeah, even if assuming you're doing the main objective, then that will also help. But seeing that Rosa pickup on Mount Ordeals pretty much is the Val solution for many a runner.
Yep. Looks like we said no to Rosa for now. Again, that's just a deferred choice. You can kind of go through and see what it's looking like for you. Oh no, we did say yes. Okay. So Possum is kind of deciding his party early, kind of getting it set so that when we come in here and we do some grind and beat some bosses, maybe we got a little bit of experience as well.
I'm trying to think if we're really doing the meta objective, without any levels, like no, not, I mean, outside of Mom Bomb, there isn't, there hasn't been a lot of XP gain to do any sort of work. So I think Possum right here is just to peek and loot, and when you don't bump and when you don't go to treasure chests as a as like a whammy, this is it's actually smooth sailing. Like this once in a while, like you may go to the middle chamber or the left tower and you get no trap chests, and that just means that you just ignore the right tower, skip it, come back later. Those are kind of in terms of looting, that's great, and that's Gungnir, so that puts Kane online. But it will pop. But obviously the reset, just stumbling onto the monster chest, that's fine. But we want the Gungnir for Kane, so he will be online. Although this early, Kane is like a lot of like we see a lot of Paladin and Cecil trying to when you get Xcal or Crystal, he's already online. The thing about a lot of Kane's weapons, there are no real stat boosts, so that's. While the weapon itself is 90, I think it's 92 attack power if I'm mistaken. So that's 92% of the way there. There's just it's not as strong as it would be because those attack multipliers are still missing. So it's strong, but not as strong as it could be because of levels.
And as you said, not finding any not finding anything in the right tower there. We're moving on, gonna save that for later, while Scythe is diving down into Antlion here to see what the Antlion has, and get Fu kind of started up that ladder of bosses.
Yeah, but right now Possum is doing whatever's a demist. To get Fu on, you just do the boss kills. So the easier the boss, the better off. The better off. And Scythe gets the Ogo. Oh, this is I think this Val does get magic immunity from spinning, so this is not but you have Kane, and this is fine. So just let Kane do all the work. If you get a few spell hits in, great, but not expecting much. Scythe not having too many issues, though bonking your way to victory. I think I saw a lunar staff somewhere, so yeah, that is a choice, and actually it wasn't too shabby for damage, especially given the earliness of the seed.
Yeah, I mean that lunar staff. Ooh, darkness at Antlion. So as you can see on our screen, all of our objectives are to do the moon. They are not actually key item locations, so I would anticipate our runners. Maybe they head to the moon and try and do it early, but I would think with the way that the flags are lined up that nobody's going to do that. But it is sort of a spicy play.
I mean, the way I look at it is, with darkness in play, that means D Machine Grind can be online, but obviously with the meta objective, probably want to try to get the 14 kills first before attempting that, and then it wouldn't matter. Possum stumbles onto a turtle to trying to kind of defend his way through the Fable defense. That shouldn't be too long. The lightning 2 came too early, so without the Kainasa, without the water, is actually weak to ice, so that in only when water form where he's weak to lightning. So that preemptive strike a little too early for the damage that was intended.
So question in chat: what is the meta objective? So the meta objective today is that you're not allowed to cast a spell with Fu until he is fully powered up. So the flag is on where every boss you beat, you get 3 random spells and 100 hit points. And so it takes 14 fights to get Fu all the way online. So once we've killed 14 bosses, then Fu can go burr at the seed. But until then, if you're chasing the meta objective, Fu is pretty much going to bonk or arrow or, fight his way to victory.
I mean, he could just parry his turn. I mean, that's an option, but I don't know. At this point, you just pretend he's a punch mage, just for a little bit. Just 14 boss battles worth of weight. Thor, although I think Possum's bought the Thor Rage way past. We've already done the Kanazo fight, but still wants the Thor Rages. There, I mean, there's always the shot that I mean, there's Odin. I mean, that's a thing. I mean,
Yeah,
but
there's Odin and a lot of the gauntlets. Thor Rages come
I usually don't think much of the gauntlets because they're just, I don't know. When you have Quake Kid, I just think gauntlets be gone. They most Quake Kid, even as long as he gets to level 13, has all the elemental spells that. I mean, there will be some gauntlet fights where Quake Kid is actually ineffective. You might as well erase him from the lineup because sometimes it just doesn't match up. But this should be a straight up fight. Although Kid, I think it'd be fine. Just although the problem with the fight is, the elements. If you're not attacking the elemental weakness, any elemental other alternative weapons, it's the penalty, and so. And usually, if it's by physical attacks, it's half damage. But if it's a spell, it's you just saw a heal, essentially effective heal. So this just sometimes you just have to wait it out, especially with the level 2 spells having a reasonable delay. It's kind of a problem, but that's the intended effect. Second try. Second try is first try at this point.
Yep. Got through that elements fight, and while that was going on, Scythe actually is up on the moon. Did check the moon character. The moon character is Palom, and also trying to see what you can buy up here, which is pretty much nothing we're going to buy. We might come back for some either twos, depending on how our few situation's looking, but it's nice to know they're there. We're going to head to Cape Value and see if it's free.
I mean, it's a wonderful gamble to peak. At least, I mean, I find that especially early game, if you're gonna peak, just peak. If it's free, then that's great. Actually, you know what? I think there are no free bosses enabled. So even if it were King Queen Evelyn, you actually have to eat up HP. Yeah, and that's a lot. And this team doesn't have any DPS worth speaking of. You don't even have virus on Quake Kid. That's half the problem. So no free bosses means that bosses that would usually be easy free. You can't. Although I think Thunderstruck just still works on Odin, but not Scythe is like thinking, never mind. There's the other aspects of no free bosses is bosses that would normally be free, like say the Baron guards, Kaipo guards. They have the boss bits. You can't be cheeky, use a coffin, easily murder them. But no, can't have that. So yeah, the biggest go ahead.
No free's not on, so unfortunately. Yeah.
I thought there's always a free thing that's not on.
Well, Kano free's on, but
so we're talking about that means Bedward is not a thing. So you have to look for deepness. So we do know that was in the waterfall. So right now it probably have to wait till Quake Kid at least gets virus, ideally Quake, to speed up that fight. So that's right now it's something that Possum just done. I don't think Scythe has peaked. So it's gonna be just wait maybe till go underground or something. And orbs.
Yep. Still opening a fair amount of boxes. We are under T-Pro Max 6, so not ever gonna find anything the best here. And CPU is in the mirror, which is a very interesting thing to encounter here.
so Possum's trying to use the HP based damage of Blizzard to negate the. So it's a half the base life. There's some random variance. Since that was the intent. I would have maybe I'm just biased at just killing the defender whenever I see it because the healing does is a nuisance, but it wasn't healing that much. Still, definitely knowledge using the J items that deal HP based damage definitely helps. So that was the technique employed on that fight.
Yep. But we got through it, and we are 6 bosses down on Pasa's side before our friendly mop is fully soaked.
But no, he's not wiping the floor because he can't use spells. But I think for a lot of things, our other archers. I mean, Rose is the preferred archer for obvious reasons. Aim being what it is, just ignoring always perfect hits and ignoring the evasion, especially on Val. That is usually why she is the primary Val killer, and it is kind of like most important, kind of the most important thing. If you don't have a Kayn, that she is the preferred option, and that just so. But I think, this early, Elven Bow usually makes up a lot of, shores up a lot of the problems. 75% accuracy, so if you gain up all the levels, it'll be perfect accuracy. But in the free enterprise siege, that never happens. So, but it's still, Elven Bow highest accuracy of all the bows. So that and it's a preferred weapon. Also good for mages because it's anti-mage, kills mages quickly, regardless of what arrow you put on. But also bonus wisdom is a good stat, kind of a good stat stick for Paladin. That I think that was which is the weapon swap Possum just did.
Yep. Equipping all of his characters and, like you said, making sure that the stat boost is on who we want it to be, while Scythe is making their way up through and into the crystal room to go find some really cool. To see what is at Baron. I don't know that we're going to be taking the game now, but it's what we take the game for, but let's see what's behind.
I think Yang is kind of underrated. The community lovingly calls him Punch Mage because he has only one skill, and it's Punch, and mages when you run like a mage heavy seed, they need levels, and Yang needs levels to kind of increases attack power dramatically. To sum it up, every level Yang gains is 2 points to attack power, like the attack power value, not the multiplier, just the value. So at some point, you want this is very critical, kind of in his scaling. So if you don't gain levels, he looks pretty bad.
Yep.
And I feel he scales better than Kayn but only if you get the levels. If Kayn gets a decent weapon, then Yang is less relevant. And that's just. But if you had a choice between a Yang or Kayn late game, it's easily Yang because you don't even have to worry about multiplier because he just gains strength. If not every level, just every level. It's just it increases at a rapid pace compared to Kayn, where his multiplier you probably need some a power shirt or a Zeus gauntlet to scale it up quicker. So it's one of those between Yang and Kayn. Yang scales better, but Kayn is solid if you need just if you have the weapon, Kane is better. If you don't have the weapon, Yang is easily better.
Yep. And as Chad is pointing out here, our underground access is behind that demist, and so we're gonna need to go and visit Rydia's mom.
Yeah. After
Haas going to go and take care of demist and then visit Rydia's mom. But yes.
Yeah, the first 4 places of the key items. So Antlion Cave, Fabul Defense, Mount Ordeals, and Baron Inn. Those are the. You can do it in any order, but you quickly find out whether or not one of those are gating. So, and if it's not, then and especially with no free key items enabled, then demist is the answer. That's just the way it is.
Yep.
And it's that timing got the virus eaten up by the invincibility mist. So that's why even virus is instant. But if at this spot the Octomammoth spot's actually pretty fast. The only reason why you normally remember it being slower is because the Octomammoth gimmick is when you do 3 hits initially, it slowing down, and usually the first 3 hits it's like a massive slow, and you can stack slow on top of that to improve the effect. But not a problem when you have Quake Kid online.
Yep. Certainly not. And so I'm just gonna kind of find out about the same time here, just behind that darkness check really. So something that Haas is probably going to end up doing here in a moment, but we'll have to see what the response is.
I think we missed it. Did Possum pick up the Yang? Because and of course it's a hook seed. Oh, lovely.
Well, that's just great. I guess we're gonna go and get 2 more of our battles out of the way. And yeah, we do have that very tempting nuke sitting there, not doing anything for us. Possum, of course, is gonna check Antlion here before doing that hook route.
Yeah, you of course we know it's darkness, so this is a kind of a required thing. If you don't have to fight all the other bosses to fight darkness, because you need moon access. Moon access can happen at any point and can be very spicy, but typically not required because unless I think unsafe is on, your access to the underground is not gated by the moon. That would be spicy. This is not as spicy. So this is. Yeah. But darkness early on, especially given the objectives, is kind of nice, but you have to kind of plot that out. So I mean, Possum might think of doing the D machine, although I don't think it's actually reached the mid objective. Like usually, there's not enough bosses on the overworld to hit that anyway. So you need at least I think half of the underground boss fights to even meet that. So yeah, that's not happening anytime soon, but could happen if they decide to violate the mid objective.
Yep. Chat pointing out we could go get Tella, use Tella as an anchor and a D machine fighter. That is probably not what's going to happen. See what Ross is doing.
I think trying to find some items like the I figured I don't remember the shop requirement, but probably I don't think anyone has picked up the pass yet. But maybe one thing to think of. Obviously, I think with all the objectives on the moon, pass is not as important. You just clear out the objectives and then just walk to Z. So, but if the objectives weren't fall on the moon, be thinking Fu and Friends. But by the time you do all the moon objectives, Fu and Friends is not. It becomes more of a more traditional, maybe Likely with reflex strats is probably want to try to get Rosa learning white and Palab learning nuke, and that would be preferable, but not required.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that's kind of where we're heading here with these parties is probably some reflex strats. With Kane just playing maybe Chemist and Wall Holder.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Being
Pop's
the
definitely
English
hitting something. We'll have to see what that is.
I mean, this shopping, which is this is a little atypical, but it's not out of the question. But I'm still deciding how many gay as probably trying to maximize the potential of nuke. Nuke being one of the stronger spells. I would still top tier spells in the game anyways. You want those multipliers as spell power 400, so one spell multiplier is 400 more damage. Although on average would be more like 500. It doesn't matter. It's a very strong spell. Everyone wants it. Maybe probably doing the D machine, because just bought those Ether ones. You're not and given Tella is on the table, that is probably something. That's some thinking going on there.
Yep. Looks like we may be doing that. When you're kind of centered around food, having some eaters isn't bad anyway. But you're probably right. Probably heading over. And looks like we're continuing to do our overworld shopping and making sure that we've found everything that we're looking for. Keep going into armor shops, so definitely, or I think probably at least partially doing a cursed ring check.
Yeah, cursed ring is low enough tier to be on overworld shop, even under I think S-Pro's a thing. But maybe not S-Pro, but it's like it's yeah. So and I've done C's with S-Pro. And some of those shopping experiences are not very great, but you could actually find some good deals. Like Diamond Ring, Gaia hats fall under that preview. Although black shirts and sorcerers are tier 5 Bible items, so those are technically at that point, especially on our Espos, gated at the cockle shop. So those are sometimes can be feel the bad moments. But I think since you have like a vanilla equipment start, Fu already has the ultimate gear. Wizard hat, sorcerer robe, diamond ring. You have a lot of the gear that you can move around and give it to people who need it.
Yep. Looks like we're gonna go turn in that pink tail. Maybe check oh, it's a crystal sword. Well, so that'll be great when we find our Cecil that we may or may not take. So
knowing this it doesn't help Sky Marshall, because it's something to be sold immediately, because there's no space for that group to take a Cecil. Permajoin, when you've reached your maximum number of party members, that's it. No one can join this club. It's over and done with. So with the hook route on it enabled, so we but I think the flag set has Cecil and Edge restricted. So if it's a Cecil, Possum is immediately rewarded. If it's Edge, the crystal sword would be probably immediately sold. But you know what? There are also other characters, so it doesn't have to be those two. It can be anyone. Restricted characters are pretty much characters gated by a key item. So the hook is a key item. So this is and the character check is here. So that is one of the restricted locations. Other locations include I think Dwarf Castle, the Lunarian on the moon when you have the darkness crystal. So there's a few spots. So but it's fair chunk of characters, but that's dupe Rosa, so that's unfortunate.
Yep. Looks like we are going to head back and maybe try and find some more levels before we take on that hooker out.
No, this is
Going
raising
to
the
the
whale.
tower, or maybe going to the moon, or both.
Well, I think we do know with this. I think it was Quake Kid on Moon, so that's not gonna help because I already picked that up on Hobbs. But you know that, of course, that's what Scythe knows. Possum doesn't know. I mean, just always remember that this information in the same seed is different from how things are decided. So Scythe decided I need hoping that character on the moon, the restricted character on the moon, is what I want, and that. I think two characters are not allowed, right, in the seed. So I think that, or am I
Yep, no
mistaken?
dupes, permajoin. All 10 should be here, so there's not going to be that many dupes.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, we don't want to talk about looking for the character on Giant.
Yeah, I was going to say there's 2 on Zot, there's 1 on Giant, there's 1 on Dwarf, there's 1 on Bear. There's still a lot of slots there.
I mean, Sand Ruby is the preferred free character one, but package, if you want to go through the sequence, we do know where D missed this, so whatever the boss is whatever. But so that's just that's that's some that can be a kind of a lost time, but it's obviously we know that Possum was setting up all these items for that D machine grind, and having done Mount Ordeals because you want to get those bosses is the perfect candidate, and Scythe is kind of locked out until killing all the bosses for the meta objective. So that's this is different. It's a it's a choice made to do that, but looks like Possum's gonna do the Baron manip. So the manipulation is just you count the number of spaces walked while encounters are off, and when based off the number, there's a table can be found on the Discord. You can ask about it on the Discord. There's a table for this, and once you know the number, and you have to also know the counter set. There's something it can be. It may be difficult to memorize. There is up to 8 possible encounters. It can be done anywhere, but Baron is easiest because one whiff and most of the enemies can go away.
Yep. Looks like we're going to give Odin here a little bit of attention. We do have Case Summon on, so this is a key item check. Maybe we think this might be better than the magma key here might be better than the hook route. I'm unsure. We'll have to see what we're thinking about.
I mean, knowing Possum and Atella is there. Scythe is probably trying to do the let's do something different, and this is the something different. I think they're trying to get Kane. No, it looks like Kane is going to be not going to do the try to jump him.
We're using Edward to cheese.
But... Yeah. So that's expected. I mean, this is trying to wait for the second Odin to happen and then show up, as it's still going on. But there's no one to punch. The turns are effectively skipped, and that's fine. It's hard to do this in vanilla because you don't have Edward. So it's fun to do things you weren't able to do. I think you can do this in the advanced port. Actually, this is the actual time the advanced port you can actually perform this in the advanced port. How about that? And I think the PSP and ooh. Oh, that's spicy.
That is pretty spicy. Because that's 2 more bosses too.
I think Scythe is like 4 bosses. I think it's like 1300. I think that
I didn't really notice, but
yeah.
That's 2 more, which is, you know, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So sometimes some food-related decisions feel like boss hunts, and I think, and that's and because but you know we're just looking for boss dense locations. So Zot does look appealing. Well, and you know characters don't matter because the party is full, but there's still you still have you know also maybe seeing maybe some looting of the treasury, although this is T Pro, so if there's some looting, there'll be some mild disappointment going on.
Yep. Scythe did actually find a curse drink somewhere. And with this party, I mean, you might go check it out, see what's there, but I don't really know what you would be looking for. Personally, I mean, I'm sure that Scythe has something in mind that I can't think of. But...
I think hoping for stat sticks, and looking through the items. There it is. Found the stat stick. Stardust Rod. That is perfect, especially for a foo that gains no stats on level ups until level 70. So that would be the preferred stat stick. Quake Kid, when reaching a nuke, usually has a pretty good wisdom stat without even needing bluff. So the Stardust Rod will not go unnoticed. So and there's a black shirt, so that's also wonderful. Having with that's another black mage kitted with wisdom boosting gear.
Yeah, I think that was fine. Stardust is obviously the star of the party, not really pun intended there.
This is I would rate it black mage over 10.
Yeah. It knows it's foo out of 10, maybe. I mean, we did find a Murasame. We're just not talking about it because neither party can use it. So
you I mean, considering it's T Pro, that's actually pretty impressive. That's what I would at least stay. I would be mildly disappointed because you know sometimes oftentimes even with like T Wildish, sometimes you just don't get what you want at all. Like you get all the things you don't have characters for, and that's like the most disappointing. So when you get a character kitted out with something in the treasury, that's a easy win.
Yep. And so Scythe, after getting through Zot, Scythe will be one boss away from finish. He's at 1600 right now. So, depending on what Zot has for us, you know, we may be able to unlock our foo, wet our mob, as you might say, before we have to do that hookup. So that would be nice.
Or we can just get vanilla magma key because you know it could happen. It's because the vanilla like there's you can't assume, but sometimes it just works out. It could work out, but you never know. There's a very slight chance. If it's possible, I would take it. And I think just resetting because wasn't set up for that fight. I think that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, we're not. We probably remembered a few things that we needed to reset or something. You're right here. This is the easiest thing to reset out of. So,
well, Possum is doing his thing, just doing the grind. It's a process. I don't think the setup might be difficult for you, but when you get to the fight, it can be a challenge when you do it. But when you understand the mechanics of how things work, especially with the D machine doing the flame, which is actually it's very favorable because it's based off of the HP of your characters and nothing more. So So the damage, especially when you have a low level character, 30 HP Rydia, that flame only does 6 damage because I think it's only a fifth of their max HP. So that's 5 hits before death. So it's one of those things where you're not really worried about fire unless character is actually crit status, and you still have some time to fix that with a cure potion if you manage to do that. You want to care to explain about the life glitch?
Yeah, sure. So the life glitch, for those of you who don't know, the life spell and the life potion actually restores your character with your vitality and hit points are twice your vitality. Maybe 5 times. I don't remember.
It's 5 times vitality stat.
Yep. So 5 times your vitality. But because of an oversight, well, maybe it's not even an oversight, but somewhere in here is an oversight of when you cast life or you have a life effect on an enemy, the enemies do not have vitality. They have vitality 0. So they are instantly brought back to life and then they die again. But you still get experience for it. So if you're quick, you can target the sprite as it's fading out, and then you can cast life on it. That'll cast life on that enemy. It'll come back, it'll die again, and it'll add to the experience counter that's running in memory behind the scenes here. And that's kind of the basis of what Possum is doing here. What's actually funny is you can overflow that counter. The devs never put a check or anything in it, so you can actually overflow the experience counter if you sit here for a very long time and kill D machines, which you can't do. This is perfectly sustainable with enough healers. But I've always found that a little bit funny that you can just gain infinite amounts of experience in a fight.
I mean, you have to use a small counter, so overflowing, it's unlikely to overflow most of the time.
You'd have to be doing it intentionally.
Yeah,
but it is possible.
Oh yeah, There's. I always think of the reason why kind of these things exist. I think they're once upon a time. If you remember this thing called the Game Genie, and there was like this XP code, and what it effectively did was essentially there's like a when the battle's finished and you see the characters cheering and the game's trying to calculate how much experience did you get, how much experience and gold did you get, and it figures out based on how many kills you've got on the enemies. Well, the code just keeps letting that counter of how many enemies did you kill going up. So that's kind of the alternate form of the same thing. But they can't overflow, but that's why you turn off the code so it stops counting and then gives you a number of based on the number of kills, and then you see the loot explosion that comes with it because hey, you've supposedly killed 1,000 of these things. That's kind of the best way to put it. So it's so each kill with a life glitch is another kill, so it's another chance of getting whatever loot that monster possibly get. And so it's a cool thing. And
it is.
See, I spoke it into existence. Spoke vanilla.
You did. You some grade A manifesting right there. So that is extremely spicy. That we're now gonna go underground without having to go through. And we are probably, I would not be surprised to see us go up the tower and go bottom up, fight the last boss, get our foo online, and then just start taking down the seed. I mean, it is worth noting Side Marshal is in go mode, and actually has access to complete all of his objectives and go fight Zeromus. So
it's quite true. I think although Possum's gonna beat him to it because has all the levels, Quake Kid has been promoted to Nuke Kid, so that's And that's all that really matters. Rosa's learned white, and all the loot that doesn't really matter at this point, because it's time. Though, we'll still save, and but
But
doesn't
Vanilla
need.
Giant's on, so we get to go
Oh, that's
through the
fine.
giant.
It's fine. You have the levels.
Yeah,
Tella
you're fine.
Tella is Big Bang first Big Bang strong. That's about the. I think ran a seed recently where yes, when Tella life becomes literally 1000 HP. You know what? It's a good day.
Yep, for sure. We even had food gain a couple of us. They said, but
It was-
we'll see what's going on here. While we're just gonna duck into dwarf and do dwarf. That's fine too. We know that because of Zot and everything, we know that Golbez is actually vanilla. So we will know everything that we need to get through dwarf here.
If I had to guess, Skype is trying to get 10 key items for the grind. That is my guess. And oh boy, the fun. But have to just wait this out. Just get Rosa and Fu to do cure 4s. This is fine. Although there's a pretty good chance that Tella takes a nap. And that's fine. But Kane will survive it regardless. We don't not really desperate need of XP after that grind though.
Yeah. Tella's gonna take dirt nap. Everybody else is probably gonna stand up. It's kind of fine. Yep. Got our Cure 4 off. Everybody else stands up. Oh, and we even raised Tella to the party.
It's fine.
Yeah.
You know, it's Sky. I think the Fu had a Lilith rod and just healed the zombie. It just drain and weapons that do drain. Do just like the spell. Is the damage is inverted versus undead. So and the Lilith rod isn't actually very strong. Actually, there's only a few. I think the Requiem Harp is the only drain weapon that actually can is worth talking about. But the drain weapons don't really hurt. At least the particular thing is that drain weapons they actually have, outside of the Lilith rod, actually have the undead bit. So it drains you 4 times as much. So if you hit 4 times the damage onto undead, you're pretty much gonna self rip. That's guaranteed. But since the Lilith rod didn't do much, hurt food that much.
Yep. We have D-Lunars at the second giant spot. Again, we've got levels, but they're punching pretty hard. See if take one out here with our nuke. Not quite.
It's the last boss for Possum. I see Fu at. Or is it the last boss? No, Fu has a lot of levels. So it's actually in the 2 like this boss and like one other, I think maybe.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be one away after.
Yeah, you usually don't see Fu getting levels. It just doesn't happen. But sometimes if you longer you're on the seed, when you gain a lot of XP, the things blur pretty easily. Like I think Fu gains like 20 HP per level. It's like he has a high base level, but it's but his HP growth is it's not worth speaking of.
Yep, he joins you at a part in the game where you're not really supposed to be leveling him up, and so he doesn't stay terribly long. But he has all the magic, and then survived the giant. We didn't get Sid. Oh, but there's a Cecil that we're not going to get. That's too bad.
It's fine. You're supposed to send it off to the great big Chocobo beyond. That's where some crystal swords go. At least, if we were to believe the memes.
Yes. But we're just gonna sell it. Oops.
So vanilla Gomez doesn't have, surprisingly, does not actually have any any spell power to speak of. Like literally has nothing. So basically, the spell multiplier is 1. So even though you may remember that vanilla, it seems like lit 3 does a lot of damage. It's like 256 spell power, so it doesn't. I think actually maybe a little bit more than that. It's like maybe enough for 1 more, so spell multiplier 2. So the spells actually don't, not very harmful at that spot. It's not that threatening, especially when you have decent amount of HP. But it's been memorable because Rydia comes back and she has, she doesn't have quite the HP growth, so it's easy sometimes to take a lit 3 and then she may just take a nap afterwards.
Yep. And while we were talking there, Poss did big Chocobo strats. I don't remember what he hid in Big Chocobo, but something. So I went ahead and noticed it, and then Scythe gets the pass out of the warp glitch. And Arfu is online, and so now we're going to rearrange all our spells so that we have where we want it. So, Nuke, Quake, all the things that we could want here, and Scythe is about to go for on the seed, I think.
After playing a lot of free enterprise seeds, I've gotten it down to a science in terms of number of spells I put in, mostly due to Tella. So it's like I think I put at most 9 spells that I actually prioritize. I reorder the level 3 elementals. Don't care. It's Nuke, Quake, Weak, just Virus. Just just basically the go-to spells. It's just if you realize that you only use so few spells in actuality, it's pretty it's amazing how much you can kind of optimize. Especially, I'm happy that you could just rearrange spells in this. Like a lot of many other games, you can't rearrange your spell list. I think the other game you can rearrange is Lufia 2, probably. I think that's about it.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not really sure, but it's like Poss finished off Odin pretty quickly as expected here. We're gonna buy some illusions; those can be helpful.
I guess.
Oh, go ahead.
I guess the question worth asking is, I think we don't have. I don't think we require all the objectives. I think we can just fade one of them, or is it all objectives? Because if we can fade one of them, the question is which one would you actually want to fade?
I'm actually pretty sure that it is all objectives, but let me get in here real quick and make sure. Yep. Oh, required 5. Yeah, so no, you can fade one.
So which of all of the ones that we have on the table, which one would you plan on fading, if you were to fade?
I probably wouldn't. I would probably end up fading Masa because I would probably just do the LST top down.
Sure.
Because if you run into something gross like the Alt Gauntlet on LST,
but I want Alt Gauntlet on Masa Alter. Come on.
I don't like the Alt Gauntlet on the Masa Alter, and so I would probably do it top down, and then if I found something that I didn't really want to fight, I probably would just skip that, and then end up skipping the Masa Alter. So we got the Alt Gauntlet out there. We have a few free bosses too left. In fact, a decent amount of them still, considering this is a Fusi.
Yeah.
Mylan Z is not one of the bosses that it counts as free, but it's not going to be that not going to survive a huge amount of time.
I mean, not. I don't think. I usually don't typically think of Miles as a threat unless you're at a punch-heavy spot. And this is not one of them. Is the Paledom spot, the Mura altar. Not. I mean, it's normally punchy and it's fine. You already have the solution in the form of Nuke. Possum still can't use Fu without. This is, I think, the last boss required. I think. So that can use Fu, but it's fine. Kane's gonna do all the work. Mylon Z is kind of hovering over the ground, so Quake doesn't actually work here. Weak. So if when any enemy weak versus arrows, at the start of the fight, gets float. This is kind of a precursor to a lot of, later SNES fights. With enemies with statuses at the beginning of the fight. So it's kind of you kind of see this when you play the Final Fantasy 5 and 6. It's easy to see. So, but yeah, anything that is weak to arrows is immune to Quake. So Quake Kid, not apply. Nuke Kid, perfect.
Yep. And Pos saving after the Murasame altar, pretty typical thing. Scythe doing a couple of the pan turn-ins. Got the Baron Key, did not see what the second item was.
It's Baron Key and Power Shirt.
And a Power Shirt, which is a nice thing to have. Kane wears that really well. So, not really sad about that. Let's see what Scythe decides to do next here.
I think it's the time for the grind at this point. If only it doesn't have to be D machine, but it has to be a grind. Because just picked up the last key item for the 10 key items for double XP. So at this point, this is the time, and I think the Seraphim staff. I'm trying to remember if Fu can equip that. I know it's one of those combinations. I'm trying to remember. I know it's a Parm's ultimate, but in Free Enterprise, we let, I think, the Triton's dagger and basically the twins equipment allowed to be equipped on like Tala and Fu. It's kind of nice because you don't want to leave them out because they don't have any ultimate advanced port weapons available for them.
Looks like we're gonna go get our Crystal Sword too. Sad about it. But that's alright. Not a big deal.
Did Possum skip the Crystal Sword altar? That might be the thing.
I don't believe he went up to the Crystal Sword altar yet.
It's probably, it's out of the way, so I think it makes sense just do whatever is at the Masa and skip Crystal Sword because it is out of the way.
And so Wyvern today is Venom, which is not scary. Mostly it just annoys you when you're done with the fight. You have to walk back to a tent spot, but should be good from here. We should have the DPS to get out of this.
It's really the point. The poison, though, the biggest, because it's a Dr. Luge special, is it prevents Berserk, and you can see. But Possum took basically a turn to heal Kane, just to allow Berserk to work on it. Because Berserk poison prevents Berserk. There's kind of a status priority when it comes to magic, where Berserk is actually the one of the lowest tier spells. I would argue is probably the lowest tier. So basically, if you have a status effect on you, generally speaking, you can't use Berserk on that character. So you talk about Piggy, Toad, Minnie, Poison being one of them, Charm. So yeah,
there's a power rank of them. You can have But yeah, so Berserk's at the bottom, Death's at the top, but
You can't berserk dead guys.
you cannot berserk dead guys. But Wyvern goes down, not terribly, not terribly hard for us here, and we'll see from here. We got our cabins. We'll see from here which way Possum goes. If he goes up to the Crystal Sword Altered. Well, I guess you're probably gonna do White Spear next, no matter what. But after that,
I mean, you have.
direction?
I mean, if All Gauntlet literally is at must, then you'd probably reset and just do whatever is the Crystal Altar, regardless.
I guess that's probably the way you actually play it. That sounds slightly better than my idea.
Just do it. And speaking of the good doctor, yeah, not a threat. So at the plague spot, I think it's actually surprisingly high amount of spell power, but Dr. Galuge doesn't really make use of that. So that's not pretty straightforward fight. We'll pop and especially in this fight, you want to avoid the second ball phase. So you kill the good doctor, the machine kind of doesn't know what to do and explodes when it doesn't have when his master is disappeared. So that speeds up the fight, and especially when this fight immediately lends to the next fight. So if Mob decides to blow up, you still have time to revive someone to get XP if you need to.
Mm-hmm. So he gets through the first half pretty cleanly. Let's see here how we handle Dr. Luge on the second half. But like you said, not super threatening. The worst part is it just takes a while because he's talky and there's 2 fights and everything instead of just like having done with it. But we don't get a chance to transform. And we're done with the White Spear Altar.
I think the jump was trying to avoid the poison, but it nuked him so fast it didn't matter.
It just didn't matter. Yeah.
So once
and we're doing some Warlock grind.
Yeah, that's it's a very reasonably safe grind as long as you can if you survive the initial phase of the fire 2s, which do a pretty sensible amount of damage at these low levels. You need, once you get a mute off or you have a mute bell, the fight is free because they just keep casting spells. The only time Warlocks punch is when they're alone. They punch and then they do weak. The weak won't be a threat. It's the punch that you're more afraid of. When there's only one of them. When there's 3 of them, they just keep casting spells. So, which when you have mute as a spellcaster, it's a free fight. Literally, it's super free.
Yep. So we're gonna go up. We're gonna see what Crystal Sword Altar is.
Interesting. Maybe not willing to gamble. I guess it doesn't. Oh no. Interesting. Oh! It's a meme time. You got a siren. Got to play it up. Hoping for an adamant armor drop because we have a pink. Because they're pink. Pink tails. We use as a key item, so they would normally give adamant armors, but if they're turned off by default, well, not by default, it's a flag. So in this flag set, it's free adamant armors from pink tails are off. So you have to actually kill a pink puff, get the rarest of rarest drops because that's where they're on the loot table, and hope for anything. And size. I was hoping that Toad was used here because I think they can also be toaded as well. So size doesn't prevent them from doing the dance. Monster spells don't work when they're piggy or toad, but when they're size, they can still perform spells. Like if you do it like one of those summoner type of monsters, they can keep summoning another monster as many times as they want. So I think they have reached Quint.
Yeah, looks like we're gonna Quint up here. Going full meme. Never go full meme.
Oh, we're not gonna. Well, I'm gonna try to get there. I know. Remember the mid objective is to punch things. It's okay to see one mop trying to brush a rod or staff on an enemy. Just bonk all the things. So Scythe is still, I think, I'm not sure done with the grind. I think don't think no Q4 hasn't learned yet, so probably want to maybe just do another Siren to get Q4 and then try to do the boss fights. But right now, I think the levels are reasonably safe to start tackling those fights. Either way.
Yeah, I think we're probably at a point where we want to start tackling some of the fights, and then we'll just take the experience from everything. But we'll have to see. Yeah, let me see what's in the ribbon room.
I think that's the best place to get the XP, so you might as well do that first. And we know it's a harmless wyvern until it does its thing. Definitely did not get it off. I don't think Sea Hero is on. So and Kane is probably the fastest character. Well, maybe I think Kane is either faster or about the same speed as Edward. So that was not ideal.
On, so it kind of doesn't matter.
Oh, then that's well, I don't think Cursed Ring probably doesn't matter when you have a Fu. Even with a Cursed Ring, I mean, helps for the Z fight, but it's all right. And finding a safer fight, this is being the safer fight. I'm still low. I think Bell probably can still one punch Edward, but this is still pretty safe, relatively speaking.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna get much safer than that. This is the fight we were looking for to gain, a lot of the rest of our levels. So we'll see how this goes. Now we decide that maybe the dialogue is not what we want today.
It's too slow. So yeah, Seraphim is a Fu weapon. So this is Sea Hero's on. Yeah, that's the other weapon would have been the Triton dagger, that Palm can equip. So.
We did get a drop from the Pink Puffs. Unfortunately, it was a neither two. So, we can do Pink Puffs. We've done the needful, but now we'll just have to see. Yeah, we're gonna come back down here. Save.
Oh boy, spoken into existence.
Is that at Crystal? I didn't catch it.
That was the gauntlet on the Massa altar, literally like that.
Yeah. With the masks and the thing, and yeah, I don't think we're gonna do that. I think we're gonna go check the Crystal Sword altar.
Possum's gonna find this out as well. This is great.
At least we don't have to do it. At least we have an option.
Right. I think.
And then the pause. I'm surprised you didn't reset already.
Yeah, did you want second grind?
Yeah.
I mean, Scythe probably needs it more, but I don't. But I just like no, like there's like this. Why? Why do I like all gauntlet, regardless of the difficulty, is a time commitment. That's the thing. Like even if we were like spawned at the Demas spot, it's just 5 fights in consecutive is just time spent. It's like actually intentionally. Yeah.
It takes forever. You need sweepers, and that's not like something you generally concentrate on in the game. Although we don't have a problem with that right now. Generally,
if it was required or something you need the grind, then it actually makes some sense. Like it's not. You'll take the penalty. It's fine, and this is super free Plague. At this spot, French vanilla because Plague decided didn't want to move that far.
Yeah, just float it up a little. It's fine.
Yeah, so normally Plague would be a threat, especially with at a fast spot. But when you are practically as fast, it's not the same threat. And that change wasn't required because I don't think either runners have found a dwarf axe, so Kane couldn't be back row glitch. I'm pretty sure the back row glitch is on, so Kane doing half as much damage is not really helpful, and this is basically his fight most of the time. But I think with all these mages having all their spells, it's pretty much Kane can take his time and count down.
And we get through that fight pretty easily with levels process. Makes sense. We get a Masa. The Masa has also lost its way in the Lunar Underground. It doesn't belong here. It belongs behind those nice masks down there.
I mean, if there was an edge, we'd have a complete set. There was I think there was a Mura in the ribbon room.
It was either a Murasama or a Masa.
It was a Mura. It was a Mura.
Okay. So we would have our
edge
kit. And using warp to get down even faster. Probably going to save. And then we will see the final boss of the game here pretty soon. At least on Pasa's side.
Yeah.
Wow, Side is having a little bit of an issue with this Wyvern. Wyvern has gotten fully into the dangerous phase again. So, just kind of having a heck of a time here, keeping everybody up, keeping everybody moving. Doesn't quite have the levels, but probably has a sustainable way through this.
Yep, you have a full party. You know, I think it might have been helpful to just hide Edward, because then the nuke might select the Edward that goes to that void where, like, there's. I would call it a void where when you have, well, it's unfortunate. Edward hiding or Kane in the air, reflected spells can target those. That's invaluable defensive maneuver against Wyvern.
But we got through it. Only Eddie was face down. That's kind of okay. Eddie was going to be Eddie anyway, so.
It's that time. It's that time of the seed. I think Z flags are starting to appear because it's afternoon and I'm kind of sleepy, but I don't.
Yeah, I'm pretty sleepy too. Z time.
Yeah. So, well, Safna, why don't you explain this wonderful event?
Yeah, and so. We don't move Zeramus. Zeramus is kind of a scripted fight, kind of a hard fight, really a hard fight. Zeramus is Zeramus, the Great Equalizer. We've said all the things about Zeramus in the past, but we don't move Zeramus. But in order for Zeramus to join in our randomized fun, we get different forms that have been curated by many community, or have been designed or suggested by many of our community members, and mostly curated by the legendary Scala Kitty. And we usually have a question that we like to ask as we get here, which is Deathlight.
Whose butt are we going to kick today?
Yes. And is it cute? And does it wear a hat? And does his butt wear a hat?
Questions that must be answered. Yep. Z has cosplay for just, I think, over to the tune of what, like 500 sprites. There's just
I don't remember the number anymore. I know that you can play every single day. I never see the same sprite in a year. So, and we have Zero Mus, who I admit that I do not recognize. It's pretty cute though. It's cute.
Yeah.
Guy.
It's not the Zero that I would think of. Like, it's not like the Mega Man Zero, because I would think that, but I don't think that's it.
No,
there's plenty others.
Yep, Chad is telling us that it is the primary kind of antagonist of Code Geass, which I forgot was named Zero. So I've actually seen that one.
So the strat here for the fight for Possum is reflex strats. Mostly you have 3 casters, Fu, Rosa, and Although I guess it was maybe I think maybe some free hits trying to as long as Kane isn't tipping the threshold, then it's fine. This is and you know the best part of it is you don't trigger the refill in I think it's around when you eat up around 40,000 HP or so. Beyond that, if you hit, you trigger refill. Sometimes you do like direct cast, or you feel a large delay after a hit from a berserker. You know that signifies the refill, and it's hard to you just if you play enough Z, it'll be more noticeable. So, trying to avoid the tip is the free refill to kind of expand the HP pool effectively expand the HP pool of Z. You know, avoiding that with reflex strats is kind of a thing, and reflex strats don't cause the counter triggers to happen, which this is part of.
Yep. So anything off of a wall can't actually be responded to. I'm assuming the devs put this code in on purpose to avoid loops, because if you were both walled and the spell could bounce back and forth, it would probably be a problem. So, but we can abuse that because Z has a counter script that says if I'm below a certain amount of hit points, then refill all my hit points because numbers only went so far in the long ago that was the SNES days. And so we can kill Z without triggering the refill if all we do is hit Z with reflected spells. And that looks like what we are lining up to do right here. Although we have lost one of our primary nukers, that being Fu. So
I think that there's a moment of panic because if that trying to get that nuke in, or it's a wipe.
Yeah.
But the white came through first because even white has a massive delay. I think it's the same as the level 3 elementals, and I think that's it.
Oh, yep. Looks like we managed to not hit the refill, and that is GG's for on Possum's side. And
I think there's a delay. Skype may have gotten the notification of the dot.
Yep. And we'll see how Scythe is doing here.
Probably still do the fight. I mean, I think it still needs to probably will pick the Mur altar most likely. No, the Crystal Sword altar hasn't actually kept him.
We're already up on the Crystal Sword altar, so
missed. So didn't do the Mur altar at all. Which is usually I often find is a really good spot for various reasons. It's the best thing is it's a kind of a one-off. Like you just go to that direction and then just exit and you call it a day. It's its own it's like doing K value. You just go in that route and it's one-off and you don't have you can also skip it. But I think I forget what the boss was there. But it was Mylon Zed. So yeah, that's probably maybe considering that over doing that and then can just having the pass in hand going that route.
Yep. So, looks like we have an official race time of 1 hour, 18 minutes, and 36 seconds. We will see if Poss wants to come and have a little chat with us while Side seems to be plagued by these moon bosses here. Probably gonna get through it okay, though.
Yeah, the problem is trying to berserk through all with the poison, and that is not. Oh no, I think it's happening.
Yep, and it sounds that wonderful dulcet tone in my ears tells me that we are joined by Possum Morpheus in the booth. GG's, Possum.
Hey, that's me. GG's, y'all.
It is you. So, how did you find the seed?
I mean, like the whole darkness and antlion thing was kind of a funny joke when I waited until the last check on the blue planet to find it.
Yeah. You were probably hoping it was a magma key and not the not the darkness crystal there, but Right.
Or literally any other key item, because I was like, oh, well, that's just the keys to the kingdom. Everybody go burr.
Yep. And you can go burr, and Scythe actually did. He did Antlion pretty early and went up there, checked the character and the shops and everything, and had a look see who it was, and then yeah. So Deathlight, do you have what would you like to ask our first placer?
There's I mean, with permajoin enabled, I was pretty sure that you were gonna pick up Tella. Now, obviously, there was a long delay, and the meta objective being what it is. But I think you were just waiting for a different character other than Tella, or is this just Tella guaranteed? And obviously, after finding the darkness crystal at Antlion.
Yeah, Tello wasn't really on the radar until he had to be on the radar. It was one of those where I was like, man, can I like find anything that isn't exactly this? And it was like, no, there's no good way to do this efficiently if it's not just, D-Machine and go. So I did try to put together a fireless D-Machine, which was like really weird the entire time. It was like 50-50 whether it would go fireless or not. And I just cannot get that to work with these funky agility situations. But it was certainly cool to at least get it to work half of the time and try to pull that off. So, a little something there with, the Hermes and the slow on Kane, and trying to make it so like you could just have Kane attack right after the week and have it go off with no fire. And sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't, and I don't know why. But I hope it was cool for folks to see.
Yeah, actually, it was actually somebody in chat's first time seeing a D-Machine grind at all. So, it was very instructive, actually. So
they got a bonus then.
Yes, they did. They did get a bonus of trying to do it fireless. So what was you pick up the darkness crystal, and then was the plan always kind of laid out from there, just grind and go?
Yeah, I mean, had it not been the darkness crystal just hanging out in Antlion Cave, I would have gone through and poked around for 10 key items, maybe done like the moon spots and some behemoths, or try to find not Tella as my 5th character. I left that spot open specifically for like Edge or Cecil or something like that.
Right.
Turns out Cecil was Sir not appearing anywhere but the end of the Giant, so that was not exactly a feasible solution, as it turns out. Edge, I don't know if he was in the seed, so it was one of those where I had plans, but the seed had other ideas, and it'd be like that sometimes.
Yep, Edge is Sir not appearing in the seed, along with Rivet, who is Lady not appearing in the seed.
So yeah, there you go.
I mean, it should be guaranteed in the scene. It's probably Package or Sand Ruby, which I don't. None of the review have picked up. Oh no, I see Sand Ruby, but yeah, that definitely wasn't happening.
No, and I think the spoiler log said like Package was in the Fey March or something, if I read it there. So, that also wasn't a thing that was ever happening, at least for me. Maybe there's where was the magma key, if it was accessible anywhere?
The magma key, so
it was Odin Cave
Odin
Valley.
to Zot to
okay, so Cave Bahamut ultimately did have the magma key.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and that's actually how Scythe managed to get on the ground. Never
Gotcha.
did anything like that. So.
Didn't really need to, but I think it needed the key items to get the 10 key items. I think that was Scythe's plan, I think, before going to the moon.
Makes sense.
Yep. Looks like we're taking a few levels here right outside.
and doing regular fights. Interesting. Possum. There was before that there were a couple other options that you like didn't consider. Like obviously Sid, it obviously would have been an alternative anchor had you not found the Tela for the deep machine grind, and then there was I think Edward, and I don't think you obviously neither of you found the spoon, so that was were your character options okay at that up to that point? Like there's just
Yeah, I mean, Kane is pretty much an auto pick. Like, so Fu being the hero means that, you know, our agility is set and we can't do much about it other than try to find a curse ring. I completely forgot that S Pro was on and not S Standard, so I was shopping the overworld trying to look for curse rings, and then didn't realize until I saw the Sylph summon in Cave of Blana. I was like, oh, right. This is the wrong shop setting. Okay. 20 agility it is. But like regardless, Kane is your Val insurance. I wanted to find Palom and Porum early on and pair them together, really lean on the twin command. When I didn't see a Porum anywhere, I mean Palom is still really, really good. Rosa is still really, really good. And then Kane, you know, gives you that insurance plus a Zerker. You know, Sid and Yang, like, yes, Yang with 1 billion levels probably is better than Kane long term, but doesn't give you the same insurance. And it just so happens I also found a Gungnir Spear and a Zeus Gauntlet in Eblin, which was like, all right, that's justification for this Kane existing in the party. And it was just like, well, what do we do with slot 5? We kind of just chill. But yeah, Yang, Eddie, Sid, not really the characters I'm looking for. Eddie, even with a spoon, he's still fragile. Yang, until you get him mage levels, doesn't do a ton. I'd rather just, you know, rock Rosa, Palom, Fu, and kind of deal with it. And, you know, Kane was nice, so.
yep. Porum was in Zot, I think. So you hadn't. It wasn't. So that wasn't going to happen with that wasn't going to happen for your party for sure.
Yep. And Sides took Edward to cheese Odin. So,
I mean, definitely the game because there was probably no alternative to taking on that Odin. So I mean, so that actually worked out, just kind of saving some time actually.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder if you can do the Kanderstruck bit with like an illusion or a blink or something.
Yep, that's what Side did.
Oh, was
Blink
it
Eddie.
Kanderstruck, not Ed? Oh, it was okay. It was Eddie, not Kanderstruck. So Eddie strats for it. Got it.
Yeah. Blink
Okay.
Eddie, hide Eddie, let Odin go off twice, let him raise his sword.
Yeah.
Let Odin, whatever it is.
Kane would have been a bit more difficult because you had the time that jump.
Oh
hide. Yeah. So that but he did have access to illusions, I believe. So that probably would have been doable, but would have been a lot more interesting. But that
Yeah, would have been an adventure for sure.
Yeah, I think that kind of sums up the seed as we see Scythe going into their Z fight here.
Any thoughts on the seed possum? But because outside of the alt gauntlet that everyone decided to fade.
Yeah, I mean, there's just no reason. That's not the first one I've seen today, and you know, I reset out of that one too. So that's hopefully not too much of a spoiler for anything, but you know, deal with it. So yeah, all Gauntlet at Masa can stay there and find its home, and you know, keep it its home, because I'm not knocking that door down. I'll knock on it, see who answers, and then leave, because I don't want any of that. Yeah. No, just, I mean, the seed was good. Fu Hero is always interesting because of the agility. Even like the Z fight at the end for me got squirrely because I mistargeted a nuke, and I was like, well, we're probably still fine, but if not, we die. So like, you got to be on your P's and Q's still, even with a very, you know, overpowered, over-leveled party. But Baron Hero's Journey, always fun. I love Sea Hero. I think it's one of my favorite flags that's been added to the randomizer over the years. So I'm always down to play it when I have the time. But yeah, thanks as always to Alchemy for putting on the Baron Heroes Journey Club. Thank you, Softnum and Deathlike for comms. Dave and Joker Mage behind the scenes, I believe, doing tracking and restreaming respectively. And yeah, y'all have a fantastic rest of your day and weekend.
Yep, absolutely. And thank you for racing.
Yeah, my pleasure. And
Was
GG's to
great
Scythe
to
in
see.
advance.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. GG's against the possum. Just make sure to follow our those that are racing and in the booth in the restream team. There's there's a lot of work to put into getting this together. So, and Alchemy definitely for a well themed character based club, because it's always nice to dedicate a week just a seed for each and every character as the hero. That's all.
Yep. And we have a nerf Big Bang. Got a slow off on Zeromus, sorry. Going with our reflect strats, just like Boston did. Doesn't seem to be having a lot of trouble with this. And so while we wait for Scythe to kind of like mop up our friend here, I will drop that if you like what you see, you can join us at ff4fe.com. Is a great resource for this randomizer. It's where you can randomize your own seed, pick from your own flags. You can find our extensive wiki, which is being improved all of the time. It has all the information that you need to get started, get unstuck, find interesting new ways to play. And you can also find us over on Discord, and I will drop the link in the chat here for us. And we have a really great community, nice and friendly, very inviting, and come on by and see us. So it's a lot of fun.
I'm just there for the shenanigans. That happen every so often. Gotta have new randomized lore talk, because every seed has its own story.
Yep.
And there's plenty other clubs that are running. Not this one, but there's plenty others. There will even be a community race tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. I don't remember the theme of the race, but there's always a themed race that rotates every 2 weeks, Mondays and Fridays. And there are plenty other races like the Ping Pong League. If you're new to the game and need to try out some seeds, new players are experiencing, that can be a place to visit and drop by.
Yeah, absolutely. So our community race tomorrow is the Lunar Racing Club. A harder flex set, just to be completely transparent and clear. K and Safe is on, so normally in the randomizer, and GG's to Side Marshal as we get through Zeromus as well. I forget how fast the flood stats can go. It's kind of amazing. We'll see what Side Marshal wants to join us for some chats here in the booth.
Yeah, with respect to reflex strats, you probably want to set your battle speed to like 3 to be safe, so the fight doesn't go awry and go speed up on you. By default, Free Enterprise has a battle speed at 1. So just for reference, Vanilla battle speed is 3. So you might, if you're doing reflex strats, you might want to slow things down so you get your time to input your spells, so you don't rush too much or you get run over by Z or any other boss.
Yep, and it's worth noting that tons of very good racers still do set them down. We saw Haas playing with his. He's one of the best. I mean, we have 2 of the best racers right here on screen for us. But GG's, and it looks like we are joined in the booth by Side Marshal. GG's.
GG's, thank you.
I didn't actually hear the notifications, so I apologize if you were sitting there for a little bit. But how did you find the seat?
It was interesting. The 10-minute immediate go mode was like, huh, okay, now what? I thought really hard about doing some sort of like 1200 strats. I don't know, like just the sort of idea was, oh well, once I get mute and a curse string, I could do warlocks. And then, well, I found the curse string and I had mute, and I said, huh, do I want to do that? Not really. So I thought maybe I could do that, but then the bosses would have been obnoxious. Like, those are hard bosses for like a lower level party. So
Yeah, some of them. I mean, certainly some of the more obnoxious ones at a lower level, if not strictly the hardest things that could have been down there, of course. But
yeah, the alt gauntlet, huh?
I'll
I hope Possum didn't do alt gauntlet, because that would
No,
be
he
a
did
big
not.
flex.
Nah, you both did the same. It's pretty much the same way too. But yeah, so it was 10-minute go mode for you. It was about 40 for Possum.
Oh, fade antlion. Whoops.
He faded Antlion until after Demus check, in fact, like all the way, like last location on the overworld.
Fair enough. Yeah. I don't know. Did Possum do? Okay. So what? Okay. Before I ask about Possum, so I saw Edward in Watery Pass, and I said, "Do I take Edward?" I almost didn't take Edward, and then I said, "You know what? I'll take Edward. That's fine." I don't know if I regret that, except it was really funny to get the Earth Crystal from Odin, and then get the Magma Key from Zot. And I'm like, all right, well, I have my 10 key items. I have my I have everything I need, but like realistically, maybe the appropriate thing to do this seed was just go and D-machine and suck up the giant and not worry about it.
So, yeah, Poss did D-machine. He took Tele for D-machine.
Boo, stinky Tella.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand though.
It's, I mean, let's see. It was Dark Knight Cecil at Elements, and
That's free.
then yeah, it's not too bad. And then I don't remember.
Cecil at the end of Giant. Yeah, that was.
No.
Yes. So you saw. I'm sure you had that pink tail. You got the crystal sword, but you were never getting the paladin. You were not getting that burr.
Absolutely not. No.
Yeah. Cecil was at the end. I don't remember what boss was in the middle there, but not too bad.
Probably not
whereas
too
you did
bad. I saw most of the awful bosses.
Yeah, and I mean, you ended up. I think you were the first one to unlock Fu at that point too, as well. Just because with Zot's 2 extra bosses.
Yeah, so if you're like, because of the extra bosses, I sort of got that nice little chain to get Fu without having to do the hook route. I was like, I don't want to do the hook route.
Nobody wants to do the hook route.
Yeah, no one wants to do the hook route. I have no idea what was down there.
I wished the magma key into existence, just the vanilla, just because.
Did you? Very good.
Yeah, because there was. I mean, you needed to catch up, but there was also you already had your underground access, so the only other way was the magma key, and it just happened the way it did.
Yeah. That's pretty funny. I think my party selection was maybe not quite what I wanted this seed, but I'm okay with sort of how it ended up. The fact that I was like 150k XP short on Palom right at the end was kind of frustrating, but you know what? It's fine.
Yeah.
Reflex strats were kind of awkward here because I didn't have a silk web. I also never found camping gear the entire seed. I assume it was in Troya.
I don't think so.
There might have been. I don't remember.
I don't think
I
Paz
think-
found.
No, I thought he bought some cabin gear. He used a cabin or two. Must
I
have.
think he found some.
The
found
cabin
something.
would have been nice. I never
Yeah.
never saw them.
Yeah, no, they were hidden though for sure. So they were off the beaten path.
Oh wait,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Possum went shopping before he actually had to take Tella for the whole D machine grind. So yeah, I think he did actually find it. I just don't remember where.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I don't know. The required meta objective for the seed is really interesting because it really forces you to do other things instead of just haha fusoya go burr, right? So the first however long of this seed is really interesting, and then after that it's okay. Now we get to do things. I thought I would just be able to do a small grind and then take moon chests. I was not moon chests, the moon bosses. I mean, I was right, but it was slow. And so in the end, D Machine wins again. I don't like saying it, but it was true. I hope that it was sort of fun to see probably a different path through the seed than Possum had. I assume he didn't like take the magma key and do all that sort of stuff. I assume he just D Machine and then blow up the moon.
Yep, that's pretty much
Yeah.
what happened. So
I'm surprised it only took him an hour and 18, but I guess if you're 30 minutes behind getting Darkness Crystal, it's fair enough.
Well, he was also memeing a little bit. Hope he tried to get the adamant armor from the pink buffs.
Did he? What a
He was
flex!
trying.
Come on, dude.
yes, we had some pink
With
buffs for
what
the
though?
audience.
Assassin Dagger?
No, mini strats and Quint.
I was hoping for Toad, but getting everyone quinting was at least half amusing.
Oh, that's clever. Yeah, it's free. It's just slow.
Yeah.
But like, that's pretty funny because he really should be another 5 minutes faster. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Good
But
to know.
you know, I mean, the adamant would have been nice.
I mean, it would have been. It would have ended free enterprise. Shut the channel down. We're done. So for that, Possum, I commend you.
Excellent. We'd have to move over to free enterprise too.
Good.
Anyway, yeah, no, it was fun. I did play the seed, I think quotes correctly, but it was enjoyable, and I got to play with. I don't know. I never found any good weaponry except the Stardust Rod and the Seraphim Staff. So like, whatever. I think if I'd found the spoon, would have finished maybe 2 or 3 minutes faster, but I didn't. So here we are.
I mean, if knowing what you know now, would you have picked up Edward a bit later, like based on what would you have tried doing Kane Thunderstruck on Odin? Because that would have been some because guaranteed you would have picked up both of you would picked up Kane because you just need Val protection. But there's just the idea of Kane Thunderstruck. It's a lot more. I mean, it's very tricky, especially given the timing, especially at that spot where I think you had illusions for sale. You had illusions for sale, right? Because you could have survived some of the hits.
Yeah, I think if you find illusions, I don't remember. I know I did buy. I bought some in the end at some point. I don't remember where.
I think.
But if you do have a couple of illusions, then Kane can do it. I probably would have not cursed Fu. I would have done like RA3 Odin or whatever. I think, and then like as long as I can get Kane sort of fast, it'd be okay. But I never could. So, I've done Kane strats before. Maybe RA1 is fine for that. It's been a long time, and I just figured, you know what, I have the Edward. I'll just do it that way. Knowing like if I knew that I didn't need Edward, or that the spoon wasn't on the path of key items, then no, don't take him. Just do Kane strats. But I don't know. I think the answer really is take Tella, do 4-character D machine, get Pally Cecil, and then blow up the moon. And by the end of the moon, he's level 40 with the crystal swords. That's fine. Anyway, probably should head off. So thanks everyone for the stream. Let me scroll down. I guess it was Deathlike and Sofnum on comms. And then we had Joker Mage restreaming for the first time. Shout outs to Joker Mage, a newer member of the community, doing a great job, I hope. And Eng Dave doing the tracking. Good job, everyone.
Absolutely, and thank you for racing for us. And everybody, go follow Side Marshall. Yeah.
All right, well, take care, folks.
Yeah.
GG's again.
GG's again, Skype.
And that's gonna just about wrap it up for us here in the booth. I would like to thank my partner Deathlike, our tracker NG Dave, and our restreamer for the first time, Joker Mage, doing a hell of a job here. We are going to go and raid Xenocat. Great member of the community. She's I don't know what she's working on right now, but it'll be great to go say hi. So stick around, say hi, and on behalf of everybody here at Free Enterprise, thank you for watching and good night.
Yep. See you all next seed.